Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm gonna tell you all about this aquarium setup, which doesn't look like much, certainly does not look as good as my other setups that you might have seen on this channel, but that's because it is special. It's special through its inhabitants, which require a very specific set of parameters, which are incompatible with traditional aquascaping. So that's why it looks bare and kind of rocky. That's because I made it especially for Sulawesi shrimps. Now they're not here at the moment, I'm expecting them tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous. Some of you might understand why I'm nervous about it, but I'm also very, very excited and I really hope it works out. So I'm going to tell you a few things about this tank and why it looks like this, what parameters it implies, the inhabitants that I currently have. You can see I do have a few things. They're not Sulawesi shrimps. These are typical neocardinas, and we're going to focus on the actual shrimps tomorrow when hopefully they will arrive. So first off, why are these shrimps special? Why do they require a completely different setup? Well, that's because they are native to a place which is quite unique as far as water parameters go. They're native to the Sulawesi region in Indonesia, as the name suggests, and the lakes they originate from are pretty much like no other waters on Earth. They are freshwater lakes, but the temperature is constantly hot, so they're always in between 28 to 32 degrees Celsius even. I'll be sure to put the Fahrenheit on the screen, not good at converting on the spot. So a tank for Sulawesi shrimps always needs to have a heater. As far as I understand, these shrimps are very, very sensitive to low temperatures. Furthermore, these lakes are also alkaline. From what I gather, the pH value is 8 or over 8. Which is not a typical pH value for most tap water that fish keepers have. As far as water hardness, that one is pretty high as well. So they are the total opposite of the red crystal shrimp, which is a caridina shrimp as well, but as you can see, requires very, very different conditions. Now, replicating these conditions with a fully planted tank with aqua soil with CO2 injection is absolutely impossible. So we need to have a different tank to meet the requirements of these shrimps, which from what I gather can be slightly sensitive as well. Now, the temperature is easy. We just plop a heater inside the tank and problem solved. It is the first time I'm using a heater because, as it just so happens, I do live in a pretty hot climate. I live in a subtropical climate and usually I do not use heaters in my tanks. But when it comes to pH, well, that's the issue. As I was saying, it's not very common to have such high pH from tap water. Also, filtering the water through a reverse osmosis system doesn't fix pH either, as the resulting water tends to be neutral. So Sulawesi shrimp keepers typically use reverse osmosis water with a product that buffers the water to the ideal conditions for Sulawesi shrimps. So keeping these shrimps is not necessarily a beginner fish keeper's thing. And when it comes to these types of tanks, I am a beginner as well. But there are some redeeming factors here which I'm relying upon. First of all, for those of you who know me from the Orchid channel, you might already know that my tap water here is already hard and already has the pH of around 8. Yay! So I am relying on this tap water rather than using my reverse osmosis water and remineralizing it and go through all of that trouble, which is quite a bit of a chore, to be fully honest. That's one. Second, I'm relying on the very warm climate that I have here so that I do not have surprises. Even if, let's say, my heater breaks down, I know that in this climate, things will not go cold, ever. Not even in winter, because this is a temperature-controlled room anyway. I'm also relying on the fact that I am quite talented at producing algae because these shrimps actually feed a lot on algae and biofilm. So I don't have to struggle to find that perfect balance between the plants and the algae so that I don't have algae and all of that fun stuff I keep telling you about. So that's a nice break from my routine, right? There are some caveats with this. I am nervous, not necessarily because these shrimps are sensitive, but because this setup is 1 week old. And if you ever try to Google these shrimps, you will see that people suggest you let the tank mature for at least a month. Typically a few months before you introduce them, so that you already have algae growing and biofilm and all of that good stuff. Do you think I have all that good stuff? No, I don't. You might see a few algae here and there. They're imported from a different tank, which is struggling at the moment due to one of my experiments, but I cannot for the life of me create algae in this tank, which is so bizarre. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to go with it because I have no other choice. I happen to live in a very tiny country. It's an island. Things don't come by often here. And I run the idea of some special shrimps to my friends at the shop for a while now, but I was not expecting to have them like next week. Oh no, I need to prepare something because I do not know when I will have this chance again. Is it ideal? No. Do I recommend you guys to rush things? No. But let me tell you what I did so far to mitigate a little bit this whole fiasco, because I really want to have these shrimps, and as I was saying, I don't know when I'm gonna have another chance. Crystal reds, I haven't seen them for a year in this region. Okay, so this tank is fully cycled, and that's because all of the medium inside my filter is coming from my other tanks. So I seeded it very well. I did not have any issues with ammonia and all of those things. And I also, as always, use Seachem Stability, which is very good. So from the point of view of cycling, I don't have issues. I will not have ammonia spikes. That is good. The problem is though, we do not have a lot of biofilm. We do not have algae. Again, because there wasn't any ammonia to feed them. The substrate is not leaching any nutrients. This is a completely inert substrate. Many of the things that I used here are leftovers from other projects. This is a Seachem fluorite, I think, combination of a substrate here. I think there are two types, but they are not nutrient rich. They are inert or are supposed to be inert. They certainly will not leach out ammonia or other stuff. And that's good, it's not going to affect the inhabitants. Also, the rocks, I did use in other setups, even with aquascapes, they do leach a little bit, I feel like, but again, in this setup, it really doesn't matter because I'm not aiming for very soft water or anything. And the plants you see here, they're not really plants. I have some Java moss, and also this is Cladophora here on the rocks. It is an algae. In parts of the world, they're called marimo bowls. Where I grew up, and I think in Europe in general, we don't call them like that. I always call them Cladophora, which is like the name of the algae. And what I did was I rolled the bowls and I stuck them to the rocks, and theoretically they should start to grow very slowly, but they will grow. They are great for shrimp tanks because they do accumulate quite a bit of debris and they can form a lot of biofilm, so that's good. In the back, there are some very poor looking crypts. They're not here for anything else other than helping a little bit with the biofilm and with cycling, because I really didn't have any ammonia source in this tank. I needed to produce some ammonia to keep those bacteria going. But other than that, they're just snail food, really. The light I'm running on the setup is the Twin Star S-Line, which is absolutely not needed for growing algae, but this is a very old lamp. It has lived its life. I used it a lot. I feel like it's not growing plants like it used to, so I think it's perfect for this type of setup where we are trying to promote algae, so the fact that it's very bright helps us. Also, I'm leaving it on for 12 hours a day rather than 6 or 8 like I do in my other tanks, and hopefully this will be enough to trigger a beautiful algae spike. The water, as I was saying, is tap water and it naturally sits at around 8 pH. It might be 8.1, I don't really know, because with these tests, it's not easy to tell. And as for the inhabitants, they are all very peaceful. And furthermore, some of them are coming from the same regions as the Sulawesi shrimps. So you might notice the ram's horn snails. These are not the ones that are native to the same place as the shrimps, but rather these guys, these are rabbit snails, and they thrive together with Sulawesi shrimps. At least growers have great success whenever they combine these beautiful snails with the Sulawesi shrimps. Also, we have the typical neocardinas, the cherry shrimps, and other varieties which are tolerant to the same conditions as the Sulawesi shrimps, but they're much easier to grow, obviously. And furthermore, they're great companions because they teach, quote-unquote, the Sulawesi shrimps to eat other types of foods like pellets and all of that good stuff, which, from what I understand, the Sulawesi shrimps are not necessarily keen on doing. They prefer to stick to their own devices. They eat their algae and their biofilm, but I guess we're gonna find out tomorrow, right? When supposedly they should arrive in the country. I'm gonna go the first thing to get them and acclimate them to this tank. It sometimes happens that the provider simply decides not to ship them that week. So I'm not entirely sure if they're gonna arrive tomorrow. I'm not gonna be upset if they don't, because I'm gonna have more time for biofilm and other stuff. I also ordered some products which will take a little time to arrive to my location. So I'm not gonna be mad if they're not gonna be here, but if they are, we're gonna pick this up tomorrow when they arrive, and oh boy, wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it. So okay, with that said, we're gonna see each other when the Sulawesi shrimps arrive, and we'll see how that goes. For me, it might take a while, but for you, it's gonna be instant. Alrighty guys, here we are. This is tomorrow, and here are the little shrimps. There has been some drama, I have to tell you guys, which, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it after I acclimate them. Right now, I am temperature acclimating them, and then I'm gonna put them on a drip and leave them here to acclimate for about 2 hours. The poor guys were blue. They were so blue when I got them. Now they look a lot better, which means the temperature is okay, finally. But the temperature is not the issue with these guys. It's the ammonia. I'm gonna tell you all about it, right? So I'm gonna drip acclimate them and come back when they're all in the tank, and we can take a better look at them, talk a little more about them. Alrighty, here we are, second day, and I think we are okay. I did find one dead shrimp, but that is about it up until this hour. Given they are very shy and they do hide a lot, so honestly I'm not sure if I have any others. I cannot count them all, but I did see quite a few of them hiding in between the rocks and under the moss and things of the sort. So far so good. I was expecting to wake up to a massacre, to be fully honest, considering the whole adventure from yesterday, which I'm gonna tell you about today. As we look at them, I'm gonna try to film them, but actually they are looking okay so far. One thing I did was I tried to feed them some shrimp food and see if they're interested. Of course, the neocardinas were interested, and the Sulawesis not as much, but I do think I saw one finding one of those pellets and munching on it, and I think he was enjoying it, so that's good. Another thing that I did was to get some matrix rocks from my established filters and put them in, because they do have quite a lot of biofilm on them. And my biggest problem right now is food, is biofilm. So maybe I can get away with the matrix until the tank ages and until my products arrive. We'll see. It is the second day and they're very shy, but I'll figure something out. Now, honestly, my concern is if they are going to have long-term effects or if they're gonna survive at all due to that ammonia spike in the bag they arrived. So let me tell you what happened yesterday. So I talked to the shop owner to let me know as soon as the shrimps arrive so that I get them directly from the water they came in and adjust them to my tank so they don't have to go through multiple acclimations to multiple waters, right? So that's exactly what we did, but when I reached the pet shop, there was chaos pretty much, because in the bag with the Sulawesis, there were so many shrimps that died that the bag was smelling very bad, and the ammonia test showed a color that I have rarely seen. The only time I've seen such a color was when I used the Amazonia substrate, which leaches a lot of ammonia. Other than that, I've never seen so much ammonia. It was smelling so bad. So things were not looking bright, so we started to acclimate them right then and there. Oh, another thing was, the owner told me to bring some of my tank water, because usually in the bags there isn't enough water to get a bag of my own. As I'm talking, I see one right there coming out. This is, wow, this is the first time they're coming out in public, and do you see? He's already going back. He's already going back. Oh no. Definitely they're starting to not be so shy, so okay, that's cool. Alright, so back to the story. I had my own tank water with me just in case I had to perform an acclimation there, just to bring them home in a bag, just to have enough water to bring them home in a bag. Might as well acclimate them to the water that I already have in this tank. So I had a 1 liter bottle with me, and it's a good thing I had, because what I did was I pulled out 20 of them that I wanted, and I started to acclimate them with my water, and the other ones, which were around 150, I don't know how many were still alive, But the other ones, we started to acclimate them in a different tank. I tried to help out a little bit. I hope I wasn't in the way, but yeah, I did work at a pet shop, or actually an aquarium shop, a long time ago. So yeah, I remember how chaotic import day was. So I tried to help a little bit. I just tended for my own business. I wanted some Taiwan bees and these guys, so I got them myself pretty much. But yeah, for any of you who worked in a pet shop or aquarium store, you know, it can be very chaotic. Anyway, so I happened to have my little tests with me, and I did a test on the water they arrived in before I started to acclimate them to my tank water, because I wanted to know how big of a difference it is between my water and the water theoretically they were growing in. Well, when I did the tests, what we discovered was that not only the pH was very, very low, probably due to the ammonia spike, but also the total hardness was not there. It was looking like reverse osmosis water to my eyes, which is okay for the crystal shrimps or the Taiwan red bees, however you want to call them, but these are not soft water shrimps. They are harder water shrimps. They prefer a higher pH as well. Whatever was in that bag looked to me like it was reverse osmosis water, unless I'm mistaken and I'm missing some chemistry thing here. I'm not a chemist. I don't know if ammonia can decrease GH and KH so much, but they were not there. KH and GH were zero. They were not there. And that was bizarre. And putting two and two together, maybe that is why there were so many shrimps dead in the bag, because in the bag with the red bees, I don't know if I saw any dead ones. Those ones looked okay, and the water was showing the exact same parameters, minus the ammonia spike. So either they were packed in a different water, because I cannot imagine they grew up in that particular water. Either something happened in the bag that has to do with some chemistry that I don't know about. Feel free to let me know down below, but I don't see how total hardness can disappear just like that. Anyway, long story short, I did spend about an hour there slowly acclimating my particular shrimp to my water, and the other shrimp that were left to a water that was in a different tank. They were starting to become more active. They were starting to lose their blue color. They were kind of blue when they arrived, which means they were stressed. I didn't fully change the water they came in. I just probably diluted a little bit the ammonia just so I can carry them home half an hour on the road. So I came with my bag of shrimps, and you saw what happened yesterday. I acclimated them slowly and surely, and here we are today. They're in the tank, and I barely see them. They're very shy, but I'm doing my best to offer them the best that I can at this point. And considering that I only saw one that was not here anymore, let's say, I don't know if there are others. I don't see them. I should be able to see them in this little tank. I should be able to see the snails or other shrimps just congregate to that area, right? Because they're scavengers, but I don't see that. So fingers crossed, I don't actually have more casualties. They're not blue anymore, which is great. And I do see them poke out from time to time, which is again great. But the next thing is food. What am I gonna do until my products arrive and until this tank ages? Because for the life of me, I cannot create the biofilm here. I think I can pull it off by constantly removing matrix from my other tanks and putting it here, because it is coated in biofilm, which is great. And I do have a lot of it in my filters, so just a few beads I think I can spare. So I think I will do that until my products arrive. I'm also considering creating another tank for them, a better tank. This was put together like kind of last minute, a week and a half before they arrived. So maybe in the next setup, I can still keep at least some mosses, maybe a few plants that look a little bit like what they find in their natural habitat. The pogostemon looks a lot like one of the plants they have there. Is it the pogostemon? I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, minimally planted, but I think better looking than this. Righty, let's end it here. Very surprised that I didn't wake up to a massacre site, but very happy about it. And with that said, hold up. I need to give you an update. This is 3 weeks after that recording or something like that. And guess what? They're still here. You don't see them, but I promise you they're still here. There's one right there. So as we can see, the rocks already have a nice coating of algae on them. And yes, I still have the Sulawesi shrimps. And overall, out of the amount that I got, I think overall I had 4 casualties. And these were all in the first and second day. And now For the past, again, 3 weeks or so, I did not have any more casualties that I can see. They stay hidden a lot of the times. When I get close to the tank, they hide, but if I sit here and just look at them, they come out. So I guess they're sensitive to movement, but if I sit here, they're not gonna really know that I'm here, I guess. And as you can see them, they're out and about grazing on the little algae, and I'm very, very happy about it. I did not do much to the tank anymore because I am planning a new tank. I just put a lid just to avoid evaporation, and from time to time I use a little bit of a skimmer. That I'm not really happy with having a skimmer in this tank, but sometimes one must get rid of the surface biofilm for aeration reasons. Sorry about the noise, somebody has a broken car. So let me just tell you a few things that I've observed in these 3 weeks, or maybe a little more. First of all, the rabbit snails, they eat plants and moss and everything. I have a whole bunch of rocks that are just empty right now. I need to remove them because the snails ate the moss. The shrimps love the moss. So in my next setup, I'll be sure to put the moss further up because the snails do prefer the lower part of the tank. Yes, they can climb, but they don't really do so. I see they prefer the bottom part. Also, they made a bebe. I don't know where it is right now. I have a picture of it. Rabbit snails only produce one egg, and from that one egg, only one bebe comes out, and it's already big. It's so funny. If you've ever played Minecraft, when I saw it, it's exactly like you have 2 horses and you feed them, and poof, you get a baby horse or something like that. That's exactly how they work as well. They need a female and a male, and they will make 1 egg and 1 baby snail. It's the cutest. So at least they like the water. The Sulawesis, I didn't see any buried female. Not that I see the females too much, but if I do have babies, I really hope they're not gonna be as shy as the adults. And yeah, so far so good, but I am really planning a new setup, and I will make sure that I place the decoration in such a manner that I don't give them too much spaces to hide from the, I mean, I will give them spaces to hide and stuff, but like in view in the foreground. I have a lot of space in between the rocks, and that's where they love to sit. Although I do see quite a lot of them up front right now. They also like to sit in the back of the stones. There's a lot of space there as well. So I'll try to make the hardscape in such a manner that it will still give them the sense of protection, but also it will be in view. I'm gonna see if I'm talented enough to do that. But yeah, anyway, it worked out, you guys. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. If you watch anything regarding Sulawesi, I mean the cardinals, let's say. The cardinals, as I know, they are the easiest shrimps out of the Sulawesis, but even so, like the things you read about them, they make you very scared. Now, was I very, very lucky to have the optimal parameters? Maybe. I don't have optimal hardness. I mean, they should be in lower hardness than I can provide, but I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm pretty sure I'll further mess up if I try to use the reverse osmosis and then mix it with the salts and stuff. Maybe I'll do that at some point if I want production, but I don't want production. I just want them to reproduce as much as to have some Sulawesi shrimps in a tank, and that's about it. I don't want to sell them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I have quite a good colony to start a I guess, bigger family here. Anyway, so that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know, did you ever try to grow these shrimps? How did it go? Was I just lucky? Or actually, they're not all that hard. They just need you to be a little bit attentive with the parameters and such. Because so far, so good with me. I was expecting quite the dramatic situation, but no. They are quite okay. Alrighty guys, so with that said, let's end it here. I think it's a long video, but yeah, this has been my experience, and if it helps out anybody or inspires anybody to try, then I'm happy. So let me know in the comments if you are currently growing Sulawesi shrimps or cardinals. If you have pointers for me, let me know down below. I'm learning as I go. Trial and error here, and who knows, if I'm really lucky, in a couple of years, I'm gonna have other types of Sulawesi available here as well. Anyway, enough blabbing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll have a great day and subscribe for more aquatic videos. I'll see you next time. Bye!